I just wanted to see your smile. There is a light not far away from us, from us.
Assalamualaikum and good evening to my teacher and all my friends. With me, Farah, Nadia, Binti, Azhar in this student. Today, we are gonna exploring about the fascinating country of Singapore, or known as the Lion City. One of a language with natural beauty. Singapore City is a republic country that located in Southeast Asia and share maritime border with Misya and even though Singapore City is one of the smallest countries in the world that has only 3 to 4 billion of population, they still recognized as a global financial hub and model of modern urban development. For nature first, Jadzuli Singapore Airport is one of the most beautiful airports in the world and that offers a breathtaking view and peaceful environment and making it must-see destination for travelers. Close up to national flag of Singapore is one of the simplest flag in the world that has only 2 colors, which is red and white, with only star and crescent moon. Other than that, Singapore truly showing a perfect balance of tradition and modernity that filled with several culture, with a bunch group of religion, which Singapore has Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. It demonstrates a city's multiculturalism. Last but not least, even though Singapore have a English language that mostly used and widely spoken, with a side language which is Tamil and Chinese, Malay was the national language of Singapore. For instance, they have a national anthem in Bahasa Melayu that we call Majulah Singapore. Not to forget, the objective of this study is to identify and solve the problems, the inflation issues of Singapore. Now we move to the next presenter, Putri Misya, Edzlynn.
I will explain about type of inflation. There are 2 types of inflation, which is demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation is a situation when the accumulated consumer depart from all the consumer goods and services. This happens due to imbalance between accumulated supply and accumulated demand. High pressure from the demand of output supply will unreasonably increase the price. This type usually happens in a monetarist economy where the overall production rate will be reduced by the supplier in order to increase profit margin. So the customer are willing to spend as long as they fulfill their needs, or we can call it inelastic demand. The second type is cost push inflation. This happens when cost of factor of production results to the increasing in the supply cost. For example, labor cost, cost of raw material, and cost of capital goods. It is impossible to maintain same profit margin when an organization operated in full employment. Therefore, the price will be increased. According to berita Mediacorp in 2022, Singapore highest inflation happened in March 2022. According to Monetary Authority of Singapore and Ministry of Trade and Industry, the increase was due to the increases in food and services and also higher rates in transportation and leisure services due to COVID-19. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine also adding more to the inflationary pressure. Therefore, Singapore inflation falls under cost-push inflation due to the natural disaster which is COVID-19 pandemic.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and welcome to my segment where we'll be talking about the factors and impacts of inflation that happen in the Republic of Singapore. So I will be talking about why it happened from year to year, starting from the year of 1960s to 1980s. So due to industrialization and urbanization, Singapore experienced low inflation in the 1960s through 1980s, especially in the early of 1970s when energy prices surged as a result of the global oil crisis. Inflation became more apparent in the 1980s as Singapore's economy expanded quickly. Import-related inflation was controlled by keeping the Singapore dollar's relative strength against other countries. Moving on, the 1990s saw relatively low inflation, averaging between 2 and 3% in line with Singapore's economic growth. However, the 1997 to 1998 Asian financial crisis resulted in a sharp drop in economic activity and demand, which led to a rare case of deflation, inflation going negative, with the Consumer Price Index CPI dropping by negative 0.5% in 1998. Singapore was able to keep inflation low in the early and mid-2000s because of a robust economy and steady global commodity prices. The rate of inflation remained between 1% and 2% during this period. In the 2010s, Singapore experienced low and steady inflation, averaging between 1% and 2%. However, there were differences as a result of the changing global economic conditions. The global commodity price collapse in 2014 to 2015 caused inflation to decline, and in fact, it briefly descended into deflation in 2015. Here, I insert the Singapore's core inflation year-on-year group, 2009 up until 2020. Next, we were talking about the year of 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic caused unprecedented challenges for the global economy in the 2020s, such as supply chain disruptions, higher commodity prices, and labor shortage. These factors contributed to Singapore's sharp rise in the inflation rate. Inflation soared to over 5% in 2022, the highest level in nearly a decade, due to rising domestic housing, food, transportation costs, as well as global inflation. As for the current year, Singapore's headline inflation rate for 2023, which includes all goods and services, fell from 5.5% in 2022 to an average of 4.8%. Core inflation, which is thought to be a more accurate indicator of underlying price trends, was 4.0% in 2023. As of December 2024, Singapore's inflation rate had been steadily declining throughout the year. I include the latest inflation in Singapore, month to month, starting from July 2023, and then we have August 2023, September 2023, October, November, December. And then we also have 2022 average and 2023 average. So that's all for my segment. I hope I can see you guys on another day for my segment. Hope you enjoyed my segment. Thank you for watching.
Increase in saving. Monetary policy encouraging saving. It implements high interest rates or promotes saving schemes to reduce consumer demand, indirectly controlling inflation by limiting spending power. Second recommendation is income policy. It's aimed to control wages and sometimes profit to prevent inflation from spiraling due to rising production costs. For instance, government may negotiate wage caps or require companies to limit price increase. Third recommendation is price control and rationing. Price control on essentials goods enforce maximum price ceiling for necessities like food, healthcare, and transportation to curb excessive inflation. Fourth recommendation is supply side policy to increase productivity. It strengthens supply chain by diversifying sources and promoting local production to reduce dependency on single regions, stabilize costs, and enhance resilience to disruptions. Simultaneously, it invests in renewable energy and energy efficient technologies like Singapore Solar Nova to lower energy costs and foster sustainability.
Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to the segment What are the actions for inflation? So do you see the building behind me? It is called the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS. So what did the MAS do? The MAS, as the central bank, conducts monetary policy to maintain the price stability, which supports the sustainable growth of the economy. So since 1981, Singapore's monetary policy has focused on managing the exchange rate as it is more effective tool in a small company. Must achieve this through direct intervention in the foreign exchange markets, ensuring stability and predictability in policy outcome, with price stability serving as the final target of an intermediary. The policy was divided into two, which is the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. As for the monetary policy, Singapore managed its dollar value against a trade-weight basket of currencies regularly updated to reflect trade relationships. Its exchange rate policy suits its small open economy where trade dominates the GDP. Instead of targeting interest rates, the Monetary Authority of Singapore controls the Singapore dollar nominal effective exchange rate to maintain the price stability and manage external inflation. And appreciation reduces imported inflation, while depreciation boosts export competitiveness, allowing flexibility to adapt to external shocks and support sustainable growth. Meanwhile, the Singapore fiscal policy prioritizes stability, growth, and equity through balanced budgets, progressive taxation, and supply-side improvements. In its open economy, traditional stimulus measures are less effective, so the government focused on cost-cutting measures like adjusting CPF contributions and providing target crisis support. This approach ensures economic resilience, strong fiscal reserves, and global competitiveness. So, that's all from me. Thank you!
Hi, we meet again here. Finally, as I said, we have come to the end of this video. To clarify, Singapore's rising inflation is influenced by global factors like oil prices, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Ukraine-Russian conflict. Demand for goods and higher production costs have led to increased expense living. To manage this, the government using monetary policies to stabilize prices and support economic flexibility. Efforts in encouraging savings, price control, income policies, and boosting supply to keep goods affordable and protect social stability. Okay, signing off with background music, the national anthem of Singapore, which is Majulah Singapore. I, on behalf of all my members, would like to thanks to you guys for watching our videos. Goodbye and Assalamualaikum.